Hello and welcome to Rise and Unwind. My name is Dan. You know, each and every week we talk to people from across the country about things you could do right now in your neighborhood. And on this week's show, we got this.
So we're reading every month, identifying our favorite books each month across categories like mystery thriller, romance, literary fiction, nonfiction. And then at this moment in the year, we stop and reflect back on the stories that have stayed with us the most.
This is an amazing experience. I'm really excited for folks to see the season premiere. This ship is what's known as a hell ship. It's a part of World War II that myself, and I'm sure many people, really didn't know much about. These were prison ships that were used by the Japanese to transport Allied POWs around the Pacific.
Being a parent myself, and you know, God forbid anything happens to your child, you're going to go to the ends of the earth to find out what's going on, and hopefully get your kid back to safety.
And whenever you commit to something like a business, you have to go full in. And I was trying at first to do it out of my kitchen, and then we realized, you know what, that's not going to work. I can't run a business out of my home with my little baby running around.
Well, without telling too much, because you got to tune in live every week to watch, I can't be giving away too much. Honestly, it was special every episode.
All of that and more right here on Rise and Unwind. Some people travel for the sights, some people travel for the food. Braun Strowman does both and usually orders enough for the whole table. The WWE Superstar is back for another season of Everything on the Menu, where he visits some of America's best food cities, meets local legends, and tries everything from neighborhood favorites to high-end dining spots. Joining us now is Braun Strowman. Welcome to the show, my friend. How are you, my friend?
Oh, I'm fantastic. Just, the season is just unbelievable, man. It's truly cool to see the evolution of where we've gone from season 1 into season 2 with having the guest on the show. My production team in post-production did such an amazing job of filming this and editing it. It really, it makes you feel like you're part of that conversation. You're sitting at that table, you're breaking bread. And at the end of the day, that the idea of this whole show come about with this is my love for going out and taking people out to eat food, getting them to try new experiences in the culinary arts and walk of life, and just have fun. Food is a vessel to bring people together for, to get them together at the table for conversation. I had guests that I'd never met before, so I have new friends. So you're kindling relationships, you're catching up with old friends, you're falling in love. All centered around food. And why not do it with the biggest, baddest SOB on the planet? And you're looking at him right here with Braun Strowman every Friday night on USA Network. Life is absolutely awesome.
All right, this new season takes you to 12 different cities across the country. What were some of the places that really surprised you this time around?
Oh man, honestly, it's always evolving. I'm so excited. I mean, I'm 350 pounds. I didn't get this way by accident. So clearly I'm a foodie as hard as it is. So for me, my day-to-day life, I'm eating out of a Tupperware. I'm weighing out all my proteins, my carbohydrates to the gram. So at the end of all that, like I said, doing this for weeks on end and then getting to do the everything on the menu is my escape as well. It's the ultimate cheat meal. It's getting out there. Not all calories are meant to be the best for your body, but some of them feed your soul. And I make sure I keep my soul fed. I make sure I keep this giant meat castle that I am fed, and then making memories and putting smiles on people's faces. At the end of the day, that's what I love doing. That's what I truly believe I was put on this earth to do, was to entertain and make people happy. And I'm enjoying and loving it along the way.
That's killer. When you spend years traveling for WWE, but the show gives you a chance to experience cities on a completely different way. What do you learn about a place when you sit down and just share a meal there?
It's really neat because how the format of the show, with doing the 2 restaurants every episode, and that first half of the show being the signature dish for that city, for that region, and shining a light, proverbial light, on some of these older restaurants that have been around. All those restaurants I do are 40, 50, 60, 70 years. And, some of them aren't up to date on their social media games and all this. So being able, and then knowing what we did in season 1 of having some of the highest, if not the highest, demo ratings in that 18 to 44, is now knowing that these generational restaurants are getting seen by the next generation. I've talked to people that went to some of these restaurants and they live in the town of it's been there for 6 years. I didn't even know this restaurant was here. So hearing those stories, seeing prime example, Beefy King in Orlando is a roast beef sandwich shop that I went to in season 1. It's been open for almost 60 years. Every time I've gone there since we did that episode there, you can't even get into the parking lot. Before I headed out to start all the crazy media tour and all this other stuff, getting ready season 2 premiere that just happened June 5th. walked in and there was 4 people standing in line that had saw the rerun of the episode the night before. We're in Orlando on vacation. We're like, we have to go to BB King. I walk in, their eyes lit up. No way you're here. They ordered my custom sandwich on it that they put on the menu. So it's really cool to see this resonating with the fans and continuing that buzz and, helping breathe life into some of these restaurants that have been around for a long time that aren't forgotten, but just somewhat aren't, the forefront of the food scene. And then the other half of the restaurant where I go in and do everything on the menu, that's where, you get this opportunity. These restaurants have this opportunity to show their full Rolodex to all the clientele and customers and foodies alike out there. And while all the great food shows that have been before me and stuff like that, you've got to see a little bit of here and there, 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 dishes. So with being everything on the menu and seeing this whole, here's my cards, here's what this restaurant has to offer. And then sitting down now, season 2, having a guest with me and being able to have the debates back and forth. What do you taste in this? How do you understand? What is your palate telling you? And then with mine as well. And then having the conversation, talking about life and everything else in between. And it just makes for, all honesty, I wish the show was longer. I think 30 minutes isn't enough.
The season features a pretty incredible mix of guests, from comedians to musicians to athletes and fellow WWE stars. And hopefully next season you bring in bad TV hosts of local TV shows. I'd be happy to have lunch with you.
Everybody likes to eat. Let's go. And don't put yourself down. We don't do that. Lift yourself up. You're a great TV host.
All right. Who else brought the most unexpected energy to the table?
Oh, my goodness. Without telling too much, because you got to tune in live every week to watch, I can't be giving away too much. Honestly, it was special every episode. It's so cool because I had so many different walks of life and hearing people's stories and their backstories and what's got them to where they are, what continues to keep them pushing and evolving, and then what their love is for food. It was so cool to see people, starting to understand, or some of the guests that I had, I didn't know they were such foodies. So it's really cool to sit there and have that conversation, because that's the fun thing about food is everybody, it's a little different to everyone, and it's having that opportunity to have that conversation. And like I said, that food is the whole reason that it brings people together. So why not celebrate and eat everything on the menu?
Excellent. After visiting all these restaurants and meeting the people behind them, what do you hope viewers take away from the show, just beyond, just getting hungry watching you eat?
I think the biggest thing for me is trying to get people to step outside their normal comfort zone in their foods. I've discovered my motto in life is I'll try anything twice to make sure I don't like it, especially in the food space. So there's not much at this point that I haven't consumed in my life. That was the blessing that I had with being a WWE superstar for 12 years, traveling all around the world, getting to try so many different walks of life in the culinary space and falling in love with the different cooking techniques and the fusions and the ingredients and all that. And now with everything on the menu, almost every episode, I'm pretty sure, if not, it was few and far between, but I got the guests to try foods that they'd never tried before. So I'm hoping with my blue collar approach, and I'm not educated in the culinary arts. I've just been blessed to travel around and get to eat a lot. 350 pounds didn't happen by accident. And I guess the Lord blessed me with this giant tongue with a bunch of extra taste buds or something like that. I don't know. But that just being said, man, life's so cool, man. It's really neat. Like I said, getting to catch up with some of my friends, get to meet these new personalities and share bread and just talk about life. It just makes for a good time.
Braun, it's a pleasure to have you on the show. For more information and to catch new episodes of Everything on the Menu, check it out Friday nights on USA Network or head to usanetwork.com. Braun Strowman, thanks for hanging out with me, my friend. Ever wonder what happens when family, business, real life all collide in front of a television audience? The latest season of the McBee Dynasty follows one family as they deal with major challenges on the farm, growing families, and some big decisions about the future. Joining us today are Cole McBee and Kacie Adkison from Bravo's The McBee Dynasty, Real American Cowboys. Welcome to the show, you two. How are you?
Doing good. Thank you for having us on today.
All right, for people who may have just been discovering the show, what have surprised viewers most about life on the farm and everything your family is pretty much juggling?
Oh, I would say for my family specifically, it's probably about how much drama we have on this show. We're 4 brothers, and the amount of drama is absolutely insane. But also, last few years has been probably the toughest years of our life. We've been going through the most problems, and obviously my dad's situation has been a really tough year. So just get to see us in our toughest time, I'd say.
And Cole, this season shows you balancing fatherhood, family responsibilities, and the future of the business. What has that experience been like for you personally?
It's definitely been, it's been a lot. It's been a lot of weight on my shoulders, but I definitely would not be able to get through it and be able to do this without Kacie, without Blair, without my family. They're the reason, they're my reason every day, and they're the reason I get up, and the reason I'm able to keep going, I guess, and keep pushing through and deal with all the stuff and deal with all the problems while doing this is just because I want to give my family, I want to give my kid and my future kid a better life. And I guess, I don't know, that's just how we keep going and get through all these problems is we do it for each other and for our family.
And Kacie, you're raising a young family while also growing your own business. What have you learned about balancing those two worlds?
It's not easy. And whenever you commit to something like a business, you have to go full in. And I was trying at first to do it out of my kitchen. And then we realized, you know what, that's not going to work. I can't run a business out of my home with my little baby running around. But my child is also my reason behind my business. And I want to just have a successful business and just provide a certain type of lifestyle for her. So, yeah.
And one thing that stands out about the series is that viewers get to see both the business side and your personal side of your lives. Was there a moment this season that was especially difficult or maybe even rewarding to share on camera?
Obviously, with my dad's situation, I mean, we filmed the day of, the day before, the day after. We filmed every single day through that week. And watching your dad get sentenced to prison, which I know people have gone through this and gone through much worse, but it's not fun to go through. It's not easy to go through. It's something that's pretty tough. So that would be, I don't think that would be too much fun to watch back just because we're moving on from that and we've been moving on from that. But I still think that's pretty, that's a lot for a family to put out there. And we definitely put it all out there. So I just hope people, show some respect to the fact that we're going through the toughest part of our life and we just wanted to put it all out there for people to see. And when we started the show years ago, that was the one thing we all agreed on. Like, hey, if we're going to do this, we're going to do it. We're going to put it all out there. We're going to show 100% of everything. We're going to be authentic. And that's exactly what we've been. Probably shown a little too much. Probably should have calmed down a little bit in the past seasons or not been so authentic. But that's just who we are. And we're just an open book. So we put it all out there and we'll just see how it goes.
Also, with so much changing for the family, what do you hope viewers take away from the season of the McBee Dynasty?
All right. I would say, I just hope people see, I've been saying this a lot, but to see a family that was going through a tough issue and going through problems, but they stuck together and they grew closer. They got closer as they've ever been in their whole life. And that was the only reason they were able to get through it was that no matter what's going on in the world, no matter what people were saying about us, no matter what Facebook was saying, we kept our nose to the grind and we stuck together as a family and we're getting through this. And I guess what I would want people to know.
All right. If anybody at home would like to catch up on everything happening with the McBee family, you can watch the McBee Dynasty Real American Cowboys on Bravo, with episodes also available on Peacock. Cole, Kacie, I really want to thank you two for joining me today.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks for having us.
A parent's worst nightmare is not knowing the truth about what happened to their child. That's the mystery at the center of Netflix's new thriller, I Will Find You. The series follows a father serving time for his son's murder who suddenly receives evidence that his child may still be alive, setting off a desperate search for answers. Today, we're joined by Milo Ventimiglia, who stars as Hayden in the limited series. Welcome to the show, Milo. How are you?
Well, Dan, how are you this morning?
I'm doing good. For people who haven't started I Will Find You yet, what grabbed you about this story and made you want to be part of it?
The complexity, as well as, being a parent myself and God forbid anything happens to your child, you're going to go to the ends of the earth to find out what's going on and hopefully get your kid back to safety. But, I found a lot of common ground with Harlan Coben and Robbie Hull, our showrunner, and was excited to do scene work with Sam Worthington and Britt Lauer and Jonathan Tucker and Logan Browning and everybody involved. Chad McBride, who, it's funny, like in my 30 years of filmmaking, like I've been on set with just about everybody on the cast to work, to be reunited and work again. So it's just go spend a summer with my friends making something cool.
Hayden becomes involved in a mystery that's filled with twists and secrets. What can you tell us about your character and where he fits into this story?
So Hayden Payne, I play a wealthy philanthropist who was previously connected to Britt Lauer's character, Rachel, who is the previous sister-in-law, former sister-in-law to David, Sam Worthington's character. When he breaks out of prison and goes on the hunt for his son, I come into the fold as someone who's just wanting to help. I'm there to help, use my resources, my time, whatever I can to help this man find his son.
And the series, it balances suspense, family drama, and a lot of emotional stakes. What was it like bringing those different elements together as an actor?
I mean, we're constantly doing that, role to role, job to job, show to show. You're always bringing together that complexity. But this one was delicate because of what we were set to dance around. The real mystery, the people that were involved in this covering up of a boy who was killed. It was just a complex role, but it was, very exciting to be a part of.
And viewers, they know you from projects like This Is Us, Heroes, Gilmore Girls. How did this role change you in a different way?
I think we were playing off of the good graces of those other roles. Jack Pearson, America's Father. People were seeing him, see him in a very golden light. Jess Mariano, who is America's Boyfriend. People are always like rooting for him. Hayden was a different kind of character. I think we were playing off of that admiration that people had for characters from my past and that trust that people had for characters from my past. But Hayden has a darker road to walk, and we were definitely using that to our advantage.
Okay, so without giving anything away, what do you think audiences will be talking about after they finish I Will Find You?
Never saw it coming. God, that was fun. I think I want to watch it again to see if I can figure out if they tipped their hat in any way in the beginning of the show. It's just a great ride. It's entertaining, self-contained, and a lot of heart.
Hey, I want to thank you for being here today. I Will Find You is now streaming on Netflix. You can find the series and watch all the episodes at netflix.com or on your Netflix app. Hey, Milo, I want to thank you for joining me today.
No problem. Thanks, Tim.
Some mysteries stay hidden for decades, and sometimes even longer. A new season of Expedition Unknown follows explorer Josh Gates as he travels the world chasing lost civilizations, legendary treasures, and some of history's biggest unanswered questions. One of this season's most remarkable discoveries involves a long-lost World War II shipwreck connected to more than 1,000 missing Allied prisoners of war. Josh Gates joins us now. Welcome to the show, Josh. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for having me.
All right, you've spent years investigating mysteries around the world, but this season opens with the discovery of Hofuku Maru. What was it like to be part of a search that carried so much historical and emotional weight?
This is an amazing experience. I'm really excited for folks to see the season premiere. This ship is what's known as a hell ship. It's a part of World War II that myself, and I'm sure many people, really didn't know much about. These were prison ships that were used by the Japanese to transport Allied POWs around the Pacific. And we work with this incredible organization. These guys you see there on the screen, they're part of a group called the Hell Ships Memorial Foundation. These guys have spent years digging through archives, looking for clues as to the location of this ship, the Hofuku Maru. And after 80 years of being lost, their research has led to it being found. So for us to be able to take our viewers there and get a firsthand look at a ship where 1,000 POWs went down is a really emotional thing and a really thrilling expedition that a lot of hard work went into for these guys. And so I'm thrilled to feature their hard work on the show.
And that story of Japanese hell ships isn't really something many people learn about in school. What surprised you most as you dug into this chapter of World War II history?
Well, the scale of it. I mean, there were about 135 of these hell ships that transported, over 100,000 POWs during the war. And many of these ships were sadly bombed by U.S. forces. The Japanese disguised these ships within their military convoys, and so they became unintentional targets for the Allies, making this kind of a doubly tragic story. But the fact of the matter is there are thousands of these POWs still out there that have not been found. And so this is an opportunity to really fulfill that promise of no man left behind, right? And to go and search for them. They've been waiting all this time. So really shocking numbers of people that are still out there and that there are still big discoveries like this to be made from World War II. So really exciting stuff.
And your team helped locate a wreck that had been lost for more than 80 years. Can you walk us through how modern technology and old archival research came together to make that discovery possible?
Yeah, so the real crux of the discovery is the good old-fashioned sleuthing that was done by this researcher, John Dureski, who's part of the Memorial Hell Ships Foundation. This guy went digging not just in the American archives, but in the Japanese archives. And it was the Japanese archives that offered a clue as to where this ship sank. Many people thought that it sank about 30 miles away from where it was found. Using that research, sonar survey was done. A wreck was located on sonar. We then went out and dove down to really get eyes on this wreck. And to begin photogrammetry, which is a photography scan of the wreck to really see it from all angles and to kind of bring it back to life in a way. So yes, it's this combination of good old-fashioned detective work and some high-tech tools.
And this season also takes viewers from underwater wrecks to ancient civilizations, hidden tunnels, and lost treasures. Was there one adventure that pushed you furthest outside of your comfort zone?
Oh, I mean, we go to Mexico in this season searching for the story behind one of Mexico's oldest civilizations, the Zoque. They went way out into the jungles in the Chiapas region of Mexico. This is a really wild part of the Mexican interior and huge caves, huge cliffs. So going underground in Chiapas into the world of the Zoque was hugely demanding, but also just about as exciting as you can imagine. Going out into these caves that no watching the Goonies as a kid. These stories are just naturally incredibly engaging. What kid doesn't dream of finding pirate treasure, secret tunnels, lost civilizations? These stories just have such a natural hook, and they're real. This is real history. And so I think for me, I'm like a kid in a candy store out there. The opportunity to go and explore these stories is the thrill of a lifetime. And to share that with our viewers is really what it's all about.
You're also going on a live tour from city to city across the country. What can we expect from your show?
Yeah, so an evening of legends and mysteries and adventure. If you're a fan of the show, it's an opportunity to dig a little deeper, go behind the scenes. And if you're just finding the show, but you love adventure, and who doesn't, it's a chance to listen to some awesome myths and legends and stories. And so folks can get tickets to that at joshgates.com. It may not be listed yet. Those shows will be coming very soon onto the website there. But it will be an awesome evening of adventure for the whole family. So if you have kids that are into adventure, or if you grew up as a fan of Raiders and Goonies and all that stuff, it's going to be a super fun evening.
Josh Gates, I want to thank you for joining me today. For more information on Expedition Unknown, episode schedules, and behind-the-scenes content, visit discovery.com. And for tickets to Josh Gates' live show, visit joshgates.com. Josh, I want to thank you for joining me today.
Hey, thank you so much. Good to see you again.
A great book can completely take over your summer in the best possible way. Whether you're looking for a page-turning thriller, a great beach read, or something you'll still be thinking about weeks later, Amazon's editors have narrowed down their favorite books of the year so far. Joining us today is Abel, senior editor on Amazon's editorial team, to share some of the standout titles and trends they're seeing. Welcome, Abby.
Thanks so much for having me. Love talking about books.
Abby, what are some of the can't-miss books that made Amazon's best books of 2026 so far list?
Absolutely. So our number one best book of the year so far is Kin by Tayari Jones. And this was a unanimous decision by our team, which does not always happen. Sometimes there's a lot more debate, but we just love this story so much. So it's historical fiction set in the South in the 1950s, and it's about Annie and Nisi, friends since the cradle who have both lost their mothers. And this is just a tender, hopeful, at times funny, coming-of-age story about how we're shaped by both the absences in our lives, but also the people we choose to make our family. And it is just a book we believe everybody should read. And then for the nonfiction readers, our number two book of the year so far is London Falling by Patrick Radden Keefe, which I am not a big nonfiction reader, but I could not stop listening to this story. So this is about a young man who jumps into the Thames River in London, and his parents are searching for answers. And what they and the author uncover is this dubious cast of characters that their son got involved with, and this underbelly of foreign money and crime, and all of it is going completely unchecked. And it reads like a movie. I couldn't believe that it was a true story. And then third on our list is Yesteryear. So a psychological thriller. This one is all over the place. Everybody's talking about it with good reason. And so this is about a trad wife influencer promoting her idyllic homesteading life to her 8 million followers, her perfect children and husband. until one day she wakes up in the 1800s and she has no idea how she got there. And to say too much about this one is really to spoil the fun of it, but it will shock you, it will challenge you. It's a great book club pick and also a great summer binge. So those are just a few on our list.
How does the editorial team decide which books ultimately make the list?
Absolutely. So we're reading every month, identifying our favorite books each month across categories like mystery thriller, romance, literary fiction, nonfiction. And then at this moment in the year, we stop and reflect back on the stories that have stayed with us the most, that we want to share with readers. And we want to make sure that there's something on the list for everybody. So no matter whether you love a psychological thriller or a romance or sci-fi fantasy, there's something for everybody.
There are a lot of summer reading recommendations out there. What makes Amazon's best book list unique?
Yeah, so I think for us, what makes it unique is one, what I mentioned in terms of we want this list to have something for everybody. So whether you like really highbrow literary fiction, something more commercial, a romance, there is a book for every type of reader. And also we have lists by category. So if you are a devoted romance reader, you can go and find a list of my top 20 romance books of the year so far, or romantasy or nonfiction. So we really want everybody to have kind of a choose their own adventure in terms of finding the best book for them to read.
What are some of the biggest trends you're noticing among readers and authors right now?
Yeah, so it's kind of two sides of the same coin. So there are a lot of books, yesteryear is a great example, about our online presence and how we are shaped, for better or worse, by by social media. And then on the flip side of that, there are a lot of books around taking a step back and unplugging. There's a great book on the list about this amazing friendship that surrounds rock climbing. And I was so surprised by it. I am not a rock climber, but it was such a breath of fresh air to be able to be outside with these kids. And so it's kind of two sides of the same coin.
When it comes to hidden gems versus viral favorites, what's really living up to the hype?
Absolutely. So yesteryear is living up to the hype. Absolutely. I would say Strangers by Belle Burden is a memoir that came out in January. It's number 4 on our list. Everybody is still buzzing about it. And it's very warranted. It is this jaw-dropping story of this implosion of this author's marriage and the aftermath. And then in terms of hidden gems, there's some of my favorites. And so number 5 on our list is Night Objects by Eli Raphael. So this is both a mystery and a coming-of-age story about a 15-year-old girl who suffers this devastating loss and then gets shipped off to this elite boarding school and is a fish out of water and gets pulled into this dangerous world of privilege and secrets. It's so atmospheric and raw, and we can't wait to see what that author does next. So there really is something for the buzzy viral sensations and also for new authors who have written just these spectacular books.
Where can our viewers go for more information and see the full list?
Yeah, so they can visit amazon.com/best book so far for our overall top 20 list, and then those lists broken out by category as well.
Abby, thank you for joining us this morning.
Oh, thank you for taking the time.
And that is it for Rise and Unwind. I want to thank you for tuning in and checking out the show. You can find us on social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and on YouTube. Just look up at Rise Unwind. And until next week, that was the show we like to call Rise and Unwind.